Hey there, hello, welcome back to the Inside Scoop. Today, I am connecting with Oscar. We are practicing the social distancing that is the norm around these days. So we are connecting over the slow cables of the United Kingdom's internet, sadly, but hopefully everything will be fine. Hello there.
Hello. How are you?
Not bad. Ready to tackle this week and this corona and everything in between, because it seems like we're gonna need quite some preparation and energy and everything to go through.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to get over all of this madness and everything. However, we still shouldn't. Sorry, I cut you off, man.
That's fine. I mean, I think we're okay as computing students. We're kind of used to the social distancing.
It's way easier. Yeah, way easier. However, we still shouldn't use this as an excuse to stop doing the things we like to do or the things that we want to do. That's why we're here. We're in our virtual studio. We should tackle our goals, whatever they are. Currently, we're working on the game. Like, I'm working on it hard. I want my game to succeed. I want to publish it. So that is my goal currently. And I'm focusing on it because, Corona is here. So we have more spare time. So we basically have to tackle other things. Is there anything that you're currently tackling, whatever, as a goal?
Oh, I'm getting back into the swing of things. I got used to actually being more social than I ever used to be. So this kind of break from that is kind of challenging, but I'm thinking I'm awaking my inner introvert again. So in that way, it's good.
Just because you have to distance yourself socially. Yeah. So because I heard you say like a few days ago that it's taken a toll on you. Like you don't enjoy being alone so much, do you?
Did I say
or at least not alone, but like sitting at home for so long?
Yeah, no, I don't like working from home.
Oh yeah,
that's something
one.
I'm going to have to get used to now that they've completely shut the library. And yeah, just I've cleaned my room up, so I've got a nice environment to work in. So that's a positive. But yeah,
I mean, could you do it if
if
you were to have a remote job or work from home? Could you do it?
I'd probably have to. It'd be tough. I don't know if I couldn't say now, but I did set up this desk that I have in my room already, and the monitors and everything. This that was not here at the end of last semester. It was brought over Christmas, and the idea was that I was actually going to utilize it to work because to work on websites visually, it's good to have like two monitors. So I thought I was going to utilize it, but in the end I didn't. But now I have to. So yeah,
it's a good thing, I guess.
So do you like working from home?
I actually enjoy it. Yeah, it's not bad. The thing is, you have to get into a bit of a different mindset,
Oh yeah.
Some say for women especially, because they put on makeup in the morning usually when they go to office or whatever. Like it's the social norm, I guess. So there are, tips for them to wake up in the morning, even if you're staying at home, put on a little makeup. But it's just to get your body moving, just to get you into that sort of a mindset, psychological state, just to get ready for the day. So
it definitely takes getting used to, right?
Yeah, it does.
You got to get used to one way of doing things, I think, and stick with it. It applies to a lot of things, but to the way you work, apparently, especially, I think.
Yeah, well, even not sitting in your pajamas all day,
Oh, yeah.
Just waking up, having a quick morning coffee or whatever people like to do, dressing up, or even like pretending that and the thing is, distancing yourself from the bed itself, physically or mentally, because it's easy to get back into that slump.
So the bed's right behind me right now.
Oh my god, yeah, same. Sadly, we don't have like a spare extra room where you could use it as an office.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, my roommate's not here very often.
You can use his room.
Nah, I like my little setup here, but it's just still not. When you get into that mindset, especially when you hear it a lot, where you should really not, separating work from living and sleeping. If you start to follow that, then to go back into your room and set up an office there, whether it is just a placebo thing, you have to believe in something, right? So if I believe that I work best if I'm in the library, if I've had to walk a little bit, get some fresh air in the morning, sit down in the library and just work there. And if I believe that I can't really work well at home, then, that's just how it's got to be. But now I've got to make the change. So I don't really have much say in that.
But do you believe in your mental power of overcoming things like that?
Well, I've got to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, for example, I believe in myself a lot when it comes to situations where you I sometimes even use this technique of throwing myself into something just so I wouldn't have to overthink it. So I would just basically throw myself in there, knowing that I will be able to do it if I will not have a chance to not do it. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like throw yourself into position when there's no going back.
Where you have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because psychologically, I know that to just get over the first hurdle of starting is hard. But if I throw myself in there, I know that I will be capable of accomplishing it. So even like working from home, like my flatmate, he constantly plays games, and this is almost the only thing he does in his room. Even though that he has, has an extra monitor, standing desk, everything's there, literally ready to just like do work.
Yeah.
But because he plays games so much, the thing what happens is like he has to go to the library. And when I said, well, now, try working from home, you just can't, because it just the mental barrier of saying, no, this is where I play games, I don't do anything else here. So.
Well, I guess it depends. Some people just hard believe that you have this kind of split. You have to have this kind of split between work and living at home. And for me, it was just kind of a decision that I made to make myself believe that over time.
Oh, wow.
Whether it's true or not, there is some truth to it. Like if you don't have some incentives or I suppose incentives to go and I don't know if you're at home, you've got like games on your PC and stuff, and you see them on your desktop, you kind of removing that distraction, or it's just the environment. Like I've got this environment for studying, I've got this environment for just enjoying myself and stuff like that. Like when I first started going to the library for like the first year, I never went to the library, but when I did start, it was kind of like I'll make this the sacred place where I just study. And like, even if I see friends or whatever in there, I'm not going to like get distracted and chat with them. It's just going to be this place where I go and I study and don't do anything else there. And that changed eventually. I kind of broke that rule, which I don't know if it's for the better, for the worse, but I met a good friend at the library. So yeah.
I've tried it out. I've tried it out in my first year, that's for sure. I used to go to the silent study place where, that I think that's the law library or something, where basically it's just a quiet zone or silent zone where people aren't meant to, make noise so others could study easily. So I've tried that area just to try and put myself in a position where I would have to study and not do anything else,
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like,
how does it feel?
You have an infinite willpower technically. If you think that you can do it, you most of the times can. There was this quote. Who said it? There was a quote where the one who says that I'm just paraphrasing, but like there's a quote which goes along the lines of the one who says, he who says he can and he who says he can't, they're both usually right. I think that's like, it's Will Smith, but I'm not sure if he took it from somewhere else. But it makes sense. It's one of those psychological things,
Yeah. I mean, it can go wrong. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
As of anything.
Yes.
I mean, it's moderation, really.
There's always an exception to the rule, but the
Like-
thing is, if you believe that you need to go to the library to study, you're right.
Mhm.
I
And
don't believe
you know,
in that.
if I believe it helps me, you know, it's a thing.
Yeah. For example, I don't believe in that. Like, I think that I can work from anywhere, or at least that's the mindset that I'm trying to practice, because I know that in future,
Right.
for example, my goal is to try and establish myself as an independent person who's like working independently, having any sort of freelance anything, which probably requires you to work from different places than the office.
Probably, yes.
So I'm like, setting myself up for, now, I don't want to say success, because it's not like, you're going to become successful because you know that, but like, if I reach the goal that I'm planning to, it will be easier for me then to complete, to just keep working from home and stuff.
That is a fair point. Because like I have trouble, for example, working in the labs when it's loud and stuff like that. I potentially could get used to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I much rather personally get used to a quiet environment, because that's not easy either when you don't have anything going on and you have to just focus on your work. That's also kind of hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the trouble is, what kind of environment am I going to end up in the future, and is it going to make it difficult because I'm setting myself up to work in a quiet environment, right? So that's the trouble there. If I do become, if I do like postgraduate here and become like a researcher here or something, and then I'll probably have like an office at some point, I'll have the library to me. So that's, that will do for me if I do that. But yeah, I don't know.
Depends on your goals, because I've from what I remember, you talked something about academia itself. Didn't you mention something?
If you can remind me specifically what
your life goals, what sort of direction you want to turn, to like doing postgraduate, maybe even teaching.
Yeah, so I'm kind of meandering still. I'm not exactly sure because in the recent times it was a bit of chaos. I was trying to just speak to like academic stuff here, just kind of get an idea of what that kind of work entails. And before that last semester, I was all like, I'm going to work really hard at like this programming shit, and going to land myself some good job, whatever.
Yeah.
And try to retire early, and then do my own research. And then
that's what you mean. Mm-hmm.
And then I started thinking, that is very risky, right? Like, what if I never get to the point where I want to do my own research? So, or never get to the point where I can do my own research. It's tough because theoretically, if I am that passionate about whatever it is I want to research, and I have something that I want to research, then I should be able to do this in my spare time, whatever spare time that I have. But it's interesting.
Damn.
Yeah, it's not something that I've answered for myself yet.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of things that I can, just being around people who do research and having, at some point I'll have a supervisor if I want to do research. When I'm doing like PhD or something, that is like very valuable to have that.
Yeah.
So, just to straight up be an independent researcher straight off the bat, I don't know.
What does it take though to become one, and why do you think it's hard? Is it just finding the idea, or
I don't think it's particularly hard. What would be particularly hard is actually getting to do what you want to do. Now, if I work a normal 9-to-5 programming job or whatever, and then I go home and I do, and I'm passionate enough or dedicated enough to then pursue whatever I do want to pursue in my own time, whatever knowledge I want to pursue or whatever, then do I need to put myself in a position where I have to work like to deadlines, or I have to propose like research ideas to people to get funding and stuff like that? And if an idea is like really out there and people don't really see why this could be useful, then you don't get funding, and it's that kind of thing. So yeah.
It's an interesting one. Yeah, I never considered this career path, I guess. As in academia, I don't think it's for me, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so, no.
One of the reasons I did consider it is because, like, generally you do research while you're also lecturing, especially here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a 40-40-20 split. So you do 40% teaching, 40% research, I think, and then 20% something else. I can't remember. At university here.
Okay.
And so I quite enjoyed tutoring when I did it. So I was like, maybe I could actually do teaching for a job. So yeah, that was one of the things that went into it.
I think you could be good at it, don't you think?
Yeah,
if you like it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, I suppose, yeah. I do think a lot about it. I'm, class rep right now because I want to make the quality of education better for people here.
Oh.
And I'm running for vice pres right now, but I'm probably going to continue to fulfill my role as a class rep as well, even though I don't kind of have to do that stuff. But yeah, that's like the reason I went into it, because I just wanted, like, I'm all about the quality of education. That's like a thing. That's I don't have a lot of values, but one of values that I do have is, quality of education for people.
Yeah, if you're getting one, you may as well, not bullshit and just actually go in for proper education. Yeah, that's a good goal. That's respectable. It's a very nice thing.
It's interesting because, like, if you take a look at me 1 year back or something like that, I would have had no values at all, no goals in life, no nothing, because I was just deconstructing everything to, like, all possible values that people take for granted, that are things that are right, things that are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked about this before. I kind of just, like, went and deconstructed all of this, and that's what I've done with everything with my life before. And so I just did that until the point where it was pointless doing it any further. To the point where asking the questions like meaning of life and stuff like that. And once you realize you've just kind of got to make one up for yourself, that's kind of the end of it. And then you've got to move on and actually start living a life. Or you could dig further into philosophy, which I kind of have, but not really. I've not really read many philosophy books. Like, I don't know, Plato or Nietzsche. Nietzsche.
But you have I think you have an analytical mind, don't you? Because I feel like by observing you, I just see how very constructed, I guess, you try to be, and it's like,
yeah, it's troublesome a lot of times, but yeah.
You think a lot, and I mean, assuming you were a professor, you'd probably get a quiet office somewhere here, no?
That's true. Yeah.
So if you're into this kind of stuff, then.
But that's 40% of your day. Yeah.
Well, and then for the other 40, you get out, walk around, get to chat to people,
which I've actually started to enjoy. Yeah. Yeah. Enough about me. I don't know.
I mean, we are talking about the goals, so.
Yeah. So tell me about your goals.
I could chat a little bit about when you said you're gonna run for the VP, the vice president of, what is it, the School of Science and Engineering, isn't it? The representative vice president thing. I'm not really exactly sure, because it's a DUSA thing, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's yeah.
Well, whatever it is, No, so I was just having a chat with one of the Taekwondo committee members, and I am most likely gonna end up being the captain next year, because I will be running for the captain. Also, from what I understand, there's not too many people interested in that role, and I also had a chat with a person who was a captain before, and it was nice sort of understanding what the role means. That it means, an ability to sort of lead, actually, because you do get a committee, and you do have certain tasks, but it doesn't mean that you, as like a single person, have to do them. Because, for example, we have a dinner that we do every Tuesday after trainings. However, our captain always, gathers the numbers, always asks like who wants vegan, who wants this and that, And I thought, if being a captain means this, then maybe a bit, maybe a bit boring, repetitive. But apparently he's like, well, you don't have to do it. I don't know why our captain is doing that. You don't have to, you know. You can assign someone else if you have the committee, you know. You can share it. You can assign it because you're the leader there. Right. So I'm thinking that he sort of inspired me, and I'm actually, as much as I know that this is, you know, this is our 4th year and it's going to be hard and all the studies, but I mean, I just want to help the club too, you know, because it's a pretty small club. If there's no committee, there's basically no club. So I want to participate. I want to, and also learn some leadership skills, I guess. Oh yeah, because it's marketing too. Because you're almost responsible for recruiting new people, and responsible for overlooking a bigger thing. Which I'm like sort of actually interested in, because
I mean you don't get a lot of opportunities to have a lot of opportunities like that.
No, for sure.
To overlook an operation like that. So I mean, it's a good experience.
Dude, even with the last sentence that you just said, I'll do it. I'll go for it, because it does make sense. You don't get too many opportunities until you get into the workforce, and you know, they say you climb the ladder, you know. But what does it mean? What's the top? The top basically is to just overlook stuff. You become the manager, you become the manager's manager, all the way until you become the the investor, who just basically gets to do nothing, basically. Practically.
Gotta work your ass off though.
Yeah, but that's the thing, you know, you're a guy with a lot of money investing into things to get money out of them. So which is basically considered the top, I guess, because what's up there, you know? But for some people, obviously it's quite different, you know. Like, I don't know what I would consider being at the top of your career. Maybe being at the top of your career is, you know, teaching the biggest class of students you currently have, or like the most passionate students, or inspiring the most people. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be the society's preset norm, which is, you know, make a lot of money and be very influential.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly something that feels good, to inspire
probably
people and help people, like even in a small sliver of time in this one semester or something. Because I look at myself sometimes and I feel like, you know, I might not be capable of, you know, the bigger thing. Like I look at like programming jobs and stuff like that, and I just feel like I couldn't hack it. But when I look at those individual modules that we do, I can like study them really well. And if I can study them really well and then be a tutor for them, it doesn't matter about my information or about my knowledge of other subjects. The most important thing is this one module. And if I can convey that really well and explain it really well to somebody, it's going to help them in their career. So if I can at least do that, then that kind of is kind of fulfilling. Yeah.
I think anything you do is fulfilling and nice. Any sort of activity that involves making someone else's day, or even just, you know, assisting them. That's why I actually,
I mean, this is
like
fulfilling.
The feeling.
I love this.
Well, even this, this is chatting. This is, hopefully, you know, someone else gets any value of it. Hopefully in the future, you know, it's going to be a bigger thing and even more meaningful to others, you know. Maybe more focused sessions, but I enjoy this too. Like, I have noticed that helping someone, I'm always up for it. Especially when I'm like not an expert, but a person who has spent like countless hours researching that topic. For example, videography, audio work, any sort of basic server work, the things that I currently do the best, or game development. I'm more than happy to just sit there and spend time with a person explaining to him the things I know, than just, you know, doing my own thing. I've noticed that I like this, but I think about academia and actually teaching people like every day. I don't think I could do that.
That's a good point, because tutoring for me is fun, and it's just like somebody's stuck on something and you kind of have to explain it to them. To like, I don't know, I guess, I mean, a job is a job at the end of the day, and if you enjoy it slightly, that's good.
It doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, because I've heard this term being not a term, but like a a concept being thrown around. You know, when people come up to you and just, or you introduce yourself, you know, you just meet a new person, for example, and the person's like, what do you do? You know, that's usually the question. Yeah. Maybe not so much for us yet, because you know, it's most likely the answer is like, oh, I'm a student, you know. Yeah. But assuming you get into your 30s or whatever, you know, when you're already like built a sort of a portfolio of things and you're in the workforce and people come up to you and ask, what do you do? You know, it's the worst answer to this is to say, oh, you know, I work as a programmer at IBM, because this literally just kills the conversation. Well, if the conversation doesn't end, at least it ends sort of like, well, maybe, yeah, if that's like your biggest passion ever, because you're like, oh my God, I'm this programmer at IBM, which wakes up every morning, you know, does this to its fullest potential. That's sure.
Yeah.
But apparently what you're supposed to say is like, oh, I don't know, I write books, I ride bicycles, because the question doesn't literally say, where do you work most of your day or whatever, you know? It's, the question is more like, what are you about? Like, tell me something more that's interesting and that you like. Like if someone was to ask me, you know, what do you do? I usually just say, oh, like, I don't know, like I'm doing a game now. That's the thing I'm interested in the most now. Doing a podcast, as opposed to just, oh, you know, I study computing and I also do a night job, and, you know, which is closed obviously now, but yeah. So try to avoid these pitfalls of just, you know, attaching this little label to yourself because, you know, you work there, for example. Yeah, we're more than that. We are what we are passionate about, I guess, more like something like that.
What we repeatedly do, yeah. Yeah,
I guess so. Is that one of Oscar? Is that one of our series which Aristotle said?
Aristotle, yeah. Was it? Yeah.
I don't know. Well, probably it was his quote. I don't know whose quote that is.
I don't know. You mentioned to me about focusing on one thing and just doing that, right? Anything in particular that sparked you to think about that?
Well, now, honestly, my game. That is one of the things that just grabbed me, and I was like, dude, I'm creating a Steam page already. That's it. I'm like, the first week of development, I thought, right, this is the best opportunity for me to get something published, which I always wanted, to have something up as a product which I could market, which I could sell. Dude, I even created TikTok for this reason.
Right.
Like, you know, yeah, that's the thing. And I started Instagram, I started Twitter marketing, well, without spending money yet, but I started all of these sort of engagement channels where I could learn more about, well, again, coming back to the, you know, management and leadership thing, just learning more about this skill, because I'm interested in it. So not only I'm a programmer and, you know, all I can do is backend or front end or whatever, you know. I had a conversation today with a friend and he's like, dude, I hate this module. I hate this game development. And I was like, wait, why? And he said, well, because I don't like it. I'm not a creative person. And then I sort of tried and have a conversation with him saying like, do you just say that you're not a creative? Would you ever want to, you know, maybe it's like a nocebo or whatever, where it's like, someone told you, so now you believe him, and then now you're like trying to limit yourself. But he said, no, I know about this all, but my life goal is to do back-end engineering. So I was like, oh, well, wait, that makes sense then. Like maybe, you know, maybe this big creative thing is not for you then. Sure. It's not a bad thing, obviously.
Yeah.
Some people like that, some people like that, you know?
I suppose creative, it takes a lot of forms. Creativity takes a lot of forms, I suppose. I mean, for me, this module is still a creative endeavor, just in a different way. I'm not creating visuals or music.
No, you're not doing the traditional thing.
You know, I'm making a game, but like the most creative part of this for me is thinking about the environment, the procedural environment generation. Mm-hmm. That's the most creative. Like that might be, I don't know if that's hard, that doesn't seem like a creative thing to you, or if it does.
Well, even programming is creative, isn't it?
In a way, but
in a way, yes.
The way you kind of artists get like in the kind of zone and of creating music or painting or whatever. That's kind of how I feel when I think about this procedural generation stuff. Yeah.
As long as you trigger that flow state, as long as you're there, that's nice.
Like for any modules that I do here, at some point I was like, I'm just gonna put all my effort into any modules that I do. I mean, I'm just putting myself out of my comfort zone. That's all it is. Like I'm going to have enough time for the rest of my life to sit down and program Office. If I do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here for. We should, we're here. We might as well enjoy what we're doing and participate fully in the modules that we do.
Because we're here once. For some people, maybe most of the people, we're here only once in this university environment. Some people, go maybe do another bachelor's degree, another master's degree, anything, but for some people, for me probably, unless robots take our jobs in 20 years, which I heard may happen. Unless this happens, I'm probably here only once. Like, I'm not planning on coming back to uni.
Well, you are quite a creative person, so the future is for the creatives, I think, when we all get the universal basic income.
Hopefully they I mean, yeah, that's a topic for another day.
For another
video.
Maybe. Yeah. These kinds of fucking very focused topics. So,
yeah, that's, because I don't yet have a proper formed opinion. I know who we could get on the show and try get him on the show for next time to talk about this, because I know that he would be good. So I'll try to talk that person into it. But I don't have proper opinions about it, because as much as I support the right with all of these claims that, outcome, the equality of outcome is undesirable, because it sort of makes sense, because it becomes like, communism or whatever.
Yeah, look, have you ever as a child, I don't know, as a child, when I had a bunch of colors in front of me and I learned that I could mix these colors, right? And I'd mix like red with yellow, and I'd get orange and be like, cool, wow, I just made a new color. And then I'd try more and more crazy stuff, and I'd mix all the colors together, and I'd get brown. And I was like, oh, this pooey brown, I don't like this. Get away with this. This is what happens when everything's equal. When we mix everything together, it's boring. It's fucking boring, right?
Oh, it's an interesting way of looking at it, I guess, yeah.
That's what happens, yeah. And we can, equality of outcome, but the other one was equality of opportunity, right?
Yeah, and I very much support that.
Yeah.
However, people do still say that, some individuals are less fortunate, some are more fortunate, but as long as everyone's given an equal opportunity to compete right from the get-go, then I guess, because the market gets to decide who actually wins or who loses.
Yep. If we try to mess with that, I mean, it's like messing with nature. You ain't.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
we're gonna try to talk about it next time.
Adjustments are made. Yeah, sure. Let's leave it till. Yeah,
it's quite a passionate topic. I could talk about it, but then at the same time, I don't want to offend anyone. And I have talked to other people who are very radical, other side believers, and I heard their opinion, and it almost shaped mine, which was like, you're speaking very valid arguments. That's why I don't want to get into any of like radical arguments or opinions. However, I want to objectively present this topic and probably have a little discussion on that. And for sure, let's have a conversation, because conversation is the way to move forward. We should, I wanted to say we should stop social distancing ourselves, but yeah. Anyway, we amidst this corona, we shouldn't. But conversation is the way to move forward, and freedom of speech and everything. We should be allowed to say our feelings, our thoughts. Some may not agree with them, sure, but it's another thing, because if person A says something that person B does not agree with, it's free speech, because person B may say his stance and then person A will not agree with him. So basically it's a mutual disagreement. but they both get their right to express their opinion, which is correct, because maybe the truth is usually somewhere in the middle, and we need all of these. We need all of the fighters. We need everything. Like
and probably I was reading an article recently. I can't remember how I came across it, but it was about it mentioned like capitalism and socialism or whatever, and how like the most socialist changes or moderated capitalism like like the changes that have been made, like 8-hour working days and stuff like that that were introduced. It didn't happen because somebody was out there vouching for these moderate kind of ideas. It was the extremists, right? It's always the extremists. That's why we get the change.
Yeah,
because
that's literally
we have to have these people.
Literally, that's what I was going to say.
These people, but I'm probably an extremist on some subjects as well. But
possibly,
I'm quite. I'd say I'm quite objective, and I don't have a lot of opinions. But
yeah, but that's literally what I was going to say, because there are people who go the extra mile to go to the parades, to go to like protests and everything. And just because of those people, we are currently where we are. And
you've got to have that. And that's just, it's the whole system working in tandem.
Yeah. I mean, we're not proposing to, go out there and break windows and do protests and stuff, but
if you have to, you have
to, probably. But if you feel like you have an idea which is a truthful idea, you should speak up and tell people about it. And I think that's a good idea, to talk about good ideas. However, our time is up today. And I know.
That's so good.
It's a very nice conversation. Very nice to have you here. I am looking forward to having you on way more episodes, because I enjoy conversations with you, my friend.
You too, friend.
Friend, pal, comrade.
Comrade.
And we're going to try and get some more people involved in this. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Oh, do we end on some words? Keep fighting.
Oh, gee, sure.
No, wait. The thing is, if we are not encouraging violence or any sort of fighting, because that's basically you can go to prison for that. But
that's the only reason, nothing else. That's not within our values. Nothing like that.
No, but just keep pushing yourself, because most of the time your mind is the only enemy. And that's how we're gonna end today.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, and see y'all later.
Goodbye.